This is the Kansas-Nebraska Act. The Kansas-Nebraska Act. It was a result of Stephen A. Douglas. He was a senator from Illinois living in Chicago. He was the leader of the Democrats in the North, and his goal was to have the Transcontinental Railroad pass through his home of Chicago instead of in the South.
Douglas introduced a bill in January 1854 to organize a territory named Nebraska. The South was opposed to his bill because it would make the territory a free state because it was north of the Missouri Compromise line.
They knew that the territory was in the Louisiana Purchase area, so it would have been a no-slavery zone.
In order for his plan to go through, Douglas had the idea to insert a provision of popular sovereignty. This was the event in which the region could choose to open itself to slavery.
Douglas also agreed to divide the territory into two different territories, Nebraska and Kansas. These events rebelled against the Missouri Compromise line, with Kansas being more likely to become a slave state.
After many debates, this act took effect with unanimous support of the South, but partial support of Northern Democrats.
This act created many consequences, including the division that ultimately destroyed the Whig Party, and it also divided Northern Democrats, which then resulted in ultimately spurring a new party.
This new party opposed Douglas's bill and called themselves Anti-Nebraska Democrats and the Anti-Nebraska Whigs. However, the name was probably too long, so they just went with the Republicans.
So Joy, everyone's mostly happy with the idea of Kansas and Nebraska having popular sovereignty, but then the events of Bleeding Kansas came to be. This is the story of Bleeding Kansas and the events that occurred.
Bleeding Kansas was a period of violence during the settling of the Kansas Territory.
Pro-slavery and free state settlers flooded into Kansas to try to influence the decision. Violence soon erupted as both factions fought for control.
Most settlers who had come to Kansas from the north and the south only wanted to homestead in peace. They were not interested in the conflict over slavery, but they found themselves in the midst of a battleground.
As the two factions struggled for control of the Nebraska Territory, the tensions increased between the two.
There had been several attacks during this time, primarily of pro-slavery against free state men. People were tarred and feathered, kidnapped, and killed.
On the date May 21st, 1856, a group of pro-slavery men entered Lawrence, where they burned the Free State Hotel, destroyed two printing presses, and ransacked homes and stores. However, in retaliation, the abolitionist John Brown led a group of men on an attack at Pottawatomie Creek. This group, which included 4 of Brown's sons, dragged 5 pro-slavery men from their homes and sacked them to death.
In September of 1856, a new territorial governor, John W. Geary, arrived in Kansas and began to restore order. The last major outbreak of violence was the Marais des Cygnes massacre, in which border ruffians killed 5 Free State men. In all, approximately 55 people died in Bleeding, Kansas.
This video was brought to you by Karen Pan and Caitlin Soldner.
The end.